Hi there, it's Charles Kelly. Welcome to Money Tips and hope you're having a great day. Today, as you know, is Black Friday, and I think everyone around the world must know that today is Black Friday. And I'm asking the question, is it just a load of old hype? Is it just a load of old rubbish, really? And certainly, from my point of view, there is a lot of hype into it. And just like you used to have the January sales when, I worked in retail when I was a student, and I could see that they brought in loads of stuff that they just put into the January sales. It wasn't the good stuff, it was the stuff they wanted to just get rid of. And sometimes I think with this Black Friday, I do wonder if these deals are genuine. In fact, I was listening to an interview with Which magazine, and last year they investigated 83 products that were sold in Black Friday and found that only three of them, so 83 products, only three of them were at their cheapest on Black Friday. So that proves that there is a lot of hype. We don't know if the companies are putting up the prices and then reducing them for Black Friday. Certainly I could say to you, well, I've got a Black Friday deal for you. You can listen to my podcast for free. You say, well, it's already free. Oh, okay. Well, I'll put the price up. I'll make it £100 a month, and then I'll reduce it to free on Black Friday. Do you see what I mean? That sort of thing, I think, does happen. And the sides of people, fighting in shops over TVs is just ridiculous. I mean, we seem to have become addicted to shopping. There's shopaholics. There's people out there that spend their life looking for bargains in TK Maxx and checking the red tickets and the yellow tickets. Well, instead of doing that, why don't you go and look for bargain properties or source bargain undervalued shares in companies? I mean, if you find a bargain property that's undervalued as a motivated seller and you don't want to buy it, tell me about it. I'll find a buyer for it, or I'll buy it. That would be more profitable than spending your time looking online for cheap dresses, cheap shoes, or cheap clothes. I do know someone who spends a lot of time looking in TK Maxx. He's become a TK Maxx expert. Great, he's got some nice clothes. But I'm just saying, if you directed some of that expertise and attention towards acquiring assets rather than just consumer goods, you could become very wealthy. And you don't have to have the money to buy all of the assets yourself. You could pass them on to somebody else in a joint venture. This is what I learned on the No Money Down property course, which was very, very interesting. And it shows that there are dozens of ways you can acquire assets like property without using your own money. And if you're interested in that course and there's free taster days, just contact me on Messenger or at charles@charleskelly.net. So I hope you have a good Black Friday. Don't get sucked into deals. Don't buy things you don't really need. I mean, this is the key, that when you see a bargain, it's so tempting, isn't it, to just to buy something that perhaps you don't even need. You just buy it because it's a bargain. And I think that is just crazy, really. Don't do things just because they're a bargain. Now, of course, if you're a retailer and a marketer, then Black Friday is an important day for you. And I'm not saying don't do things on Black Friday. If you've got, it's a good time. I mean, 8 billion will be spent in the UK on Black Friday, so it is moving the economy. It's moving things around. But as a consumer, I would just be careful and say, try and find out, is this really a deal? Because if you're looking for something, say you're looking for a car or a TV or a course, you've got to do your research before Black Friday. Don't just get sucked in on the day and see this deal and right, buy it. You should know roughly what the going rate is for that product. Is it really a deal? Is the product any good? Or just because it's cheap, it might not be any good. Check out the reviews. There's a lot of fake reviews on at the moment now. You can see Facebook groups advertising to pay people to go and post fake reviews. So can you really believe all of these reviews? So you've got to do a bit more research than just buying something because it's a Black Friday deal. So just be careful out there. But obviously, if you're marketing stuff, have a good Black Friday day. I'm sure you'll make lots of money, and lots of money will be spent and made on Black Friday. The consumer group also said that a lot of people get into debt over this period, and even using loan sharks because of Black Friday. Well, that's just crazy. Don't get into debt. Don't spend money and on credit cards at 16, 18, 25%, to buy stuff that's going down in value. if you want to borrow money at 2% to buy assets like property that is going up in value. Now, on the subject of property, I went to a landlord's meeting last night, and I was astounded to see that there were no letting agents in the room, so that they're not keeping up with their CPD and their knowledge of what's going on in the market, like the Tenants Fees Act and the changes to HMO rules. They're not keeping up with this at all. So if you're using a letting agent, just be aware that they may not know about the rules, and they can drop you in it left, right and centre. Because of their incompetence and their lack of knowledge, they can put you, the landlord, into a lot of trouble, even to become prosecuted or to put into jail because you haven't followed the right fire regulations. So you just be careful. You have to know the rules yourself, because you cannot rely on a letting agent and a management company to know the rules, because they're not attending these meetings. They're not getting their CPD. And I talked to one local agent after the previous meeting, and he said, "Yeah, I heard about that landlord's meeting. It's a load of rubbish." He said, "They don't know what they're talking about." Well, come on. There was officers there from the council. There was a HMO officer. There was a trading standard officer. There were a room full of landlords in there that have been in the business for 20 years or more. So you cannot tell me they don't know what they're talking about. So that's what I found out. I was astounded. So if you are a landlord, make sure you're doing your own CPD, because don't rely on people out there to like letting agents to do it for you. Now, other news that I've reported on in the week: the Financial Conduct Authority have banned the sales of mini bond marketing to ordinary savers. These are bonds that are effectively loans to savers wrapped up in an ISA wrapper that should only be sold to sophisticated investors who understand the risks. A famous topless model this week was declared bankrupt. If you want to find out more, listen to my podcast. Go to moneytipsdaily.com or check out my Money Tips Daily Facebook page. And we also reported that Uber has lost its license again in London, and that they will be fighting that through the courts. So there's no change at the moment. I can still get an Uber when I want to at the moment, but they've been found to be wanting that unregistered drivers. In other words, you get a driver on your phone, and you think that's the guy who's and it is usually a guy that's the one that's going to be picking you up, and then the Transport for London Authority have found that in thousands of cases they were not the driver that was on the phone on the app. So they were unregistered drivers, possibly uninsured. So all sorts of problems Uber is having, but they claim that they are sorting this out and they're going to appeal. So thanks for listening, and do check out my podcast on iTunes and Stitcher, and my website moneytipsdaily.com. So just to recap there, just be careful on the Black Friday deals, and if you want to get a really good deal, then this is not particularly a Black Friday deal, but why not attend one of the free courses you can attend to learn more about buying assets rather than consumer goods. And you can do that by contacting me on Facebook Messenger, or on my email address, charles@charleskelly.net. And I'll put you in touch with a company that will give you a free taster day in property investing, learning how to buy property, in some cases with no money down, none of your own money, or various techniques you can use to acquire and control property using none of your own money. These things are not pie in the sky. They really do exist. And if you're interested in it, just get in touch with me, and I'll put you in touch with the company that can get you involved in property, which is acquiring an asset rather than buying flat screen TVs on Black Friday that will go down in value and may not even be the bargain you thought it would be. So thanks for listening. This is Charles Kelly, bringing you money tips to help you save, earn, invest, accumulate, and enjoy more money. Thanks for listening, and thanks for everyone tuning in on Facebook Live. Great to see you.